Hi everyone, it's Nat from Studio Hacks here, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a song in GarageBand for the iPhone. And this is going to be a unedited video. I'm just going to make a song from scratch, and if you don't have the GarageBand app, you can get it for free on the App Store. This is iOS 13, and I'm going to fire up the GarageBand app. Now I've used GarageBand, the iOS version of GarageBand, to create music that has been used on short films, one even in a video game. And I usually create ideas for songs in the GarageBand app on my iPhone, and then I export them and continue working on them in the Mac version of GarageBand. You can easily do that when you export a project. So here we go. I've just opened up GarageBand. I'm going to hit the top right hand corner because it's opened the last project that I was working on. What I want to do is go to my songs. So this will show me all the songs I've made, and this is also where I can create a new song. So let me full screen this for you. I'm just screencasting my iPhone to the computer here. And usually, I mean, it's fairly common to start out with a drum beat. I'm not going to really have any expectations of this. I'm just going to be completely creative and just make a song from scratch. So I usually use either the drums or the drummer, which is like an auto drummer. I'm going to go the beat sequencer here, which is the third option down the bottom. And this is going to allow me to manually enter in a drum beat. Like, this is sort of like a drum machine, really. And you can change the sound of the drum machine on the top left-hand corner, and you'll see now there's an extra option. It's automatically loaded a modern 808. That's the Roland TR-808. But we can go down here and have a look at all these different. Some of these are packs that I've downloaded from the GarageBand. You can download extra sound packs for free. And that's in the sound library. If you go to sound library, it'll tell you there if there are packs that you haven't downloaded. So I'm going to select maybe a vintage one here. Let's try vintage. Let's try the Roland CR-78. I don't think I've tried that one before. And it will load a beat. That's really cool. That's super duper vintage. I'm going to change the speed of my song. I want it to be pretty slow, and I'm going to use the cogwheel on the top right hand corner, which is going to open up the song settings for me. And then under the tempo right there, which is by default 100, I'm going to set that to something more like 85. Let's go 88. You can also tap it in if you want to, if you're just going for a vibe. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, and it will guess, it'll approximate the speed and then pop it there. So that said that was about 87. So let's go with that. Let's listen to this load out now. So you can add or remove by just clicking on, see that top pink row, that's the kick drum. And the second row there is the snare. And then we've got all the cymbals and shakers and things in blue. So I'm going to get rid of that kick drum one on the right there. And now I want to make, this is just one bar long. So there's 16 steps in the bar because we're dealing with 16 notes. So if I click the little I down the bottom, the info, I can change the length from 16 steps to 32, which will be double the length. That'll actually be 2 bars long. And you'll notice now at the top, there's like these are the 2 bars. So if I click on the second one, I can add in some more stuff there. Let's go play from the start. if I click on a note and hold my finger down on it, let's see. I know there's a way to split these notes. I haven't used this in a while. Oh yeah, it's this velocity. You click on here and then you click this up arrow, and instead of velocity, down the bottom right hand corner, you can do the note repeat, and you can split notes this way into quarters, halves, or triplets even, I think. Let's see what this does to it. I'm just going to keep tapping on these notes in different parts, and then 2 notes, 3. Oh, there you go, 4. So you click and hold, and 1 note, 2 notes. Let's try these triplets, 3 notes. See if that will give us a trappy kind of clicky sound. There we go, that's fine. Now I need to record this so it's in my main arrangement. So I'm just going to hit all the way back to the start, to the left there, and click the record button and let it run for at least 2 bars. Okay, so now I can go back to I can go out to the main arrangement. Now that I've used this drum machine, I've printed my pattern into the arrangement as MIDI. So I'm going to click on this button right here up the top left-hand corner. It's going to take me to the arrangement. And you can see now that we're in the track view, and I've just clicked on this clip, and I want to grab the right-hand side and trim it down to be 2 bars in length. I click on it again, and I'm going to select loop. That way I've got now 8 bars of that. Now let's add in some chords. I think next is a good thing to do. So I'm going to hit plus, and let's just pick a piano sound maybe. Where are we? Keyboard. Okay, so I'm going to click more sounds, and I might grab, under this keyboards tab, I might grab an organ sound. Soul organ. Now I do have a bit of lag here because this screencast creates lag, so it's making it difficult for me to play in time. But let's see if we can alter this sound a little bit, because it's a little bit harsh for my liking. I'm going to select the smart controls, which is the icon on the top right hand corner next to the settings icon right here. And you can see there's a option to switch the percussion off, or the third or the second. I'm not entirely sure the difference between third and second. I'm going to select off for the percussion because that's that clicky noise. I'm going to keep the chorus on. I'm going to pull the distortion down, and then we have an option to change the tone bars on the right hand side here. Slide bars. If you're familiar with the Hammond style organs, the church organs, this will soften the sound a bit. This is the bass. There we go, that's cool, and it's still giving me a bit of that click on the percussion. What happens if we switch the chorus? That's fine, that'll do for the moment. And I'm going to close those smart controls and record some of this. I'm just going to see if I can come up with some kind of a chord progression here. Come up with something. something like that maybe. So I'm going to, where this says glissando, change that to scroll. So I can just move this keyboard to the right a bit to get the... All right, let's just record some ideas here. I'm going to go back to the start and hit this record button. It should give me a 4-bar count in. Okay, so that wasn't perfect. It's a bit hard, I find, to play this keyboard, but we can edit this performance by going back to the track view. And if I click and click again on that region that I just recorded, I can edit that and it will give me kind of like a MIDI editor. So I'm actually going to first trim it down by trimming the front end. Let me see if I can trim this front end. There we go. So I'm keeping the second set of 4 bars there. I'm going to drag that whole thing there. I'm just going to see if I can edit that a bit to make those notes a bit better. See what that sounds like. So I need to, first of all, quantize this. So under the settings on the top right hand corner, I can go to the track, open up the track controls. Because of the lag that I'm experiencing, I wasn't playing those notes bang on. So under the track settings, I can select quantization, and under straight, I think, I'm going to select 16th notes and see what that does to my performance. Beautiful, that's fixed up the timing there. The quantization has just snapped these notes to the closest 16th note. I want to add one extra note in, so I'm going to hold my finger down on the pen icon there and draw in a note. I want there to be a lower note on this last final chord here. Let's see if that sounds good. Okay, so I'm going to do the same with this. I'm going to loop that. And then I'm going to now add a bass. So sorry, I've just gotten ahead of myself there. I should click the plus right there. And then I'm going to muck around with adding a bass line. Let me see what I can do with this smart bass. I don't use this very much. You can do an auto bass by opening up, I think, the smart controls. And you can do these different autoplay patterns. And I'm just going to muck around with this and see if I can get anything to work. It's actually kind of working. Let's try some different sounds. I like the P bass. Let's see whether that's got some different autoplay. They're sort of just keeping it on a D minor there seems to be working. wonder if we can record this. Okay, so I only need the 4 bars of that. I'm going to go back out to the track view. Okay, so it has given me some MIDI there. Now, I wonder what happens if I go back to this instrument by switching back to the other view that I had. I think it's that one next to the FX there. Yes, it is. And just switching off that autoplay. I think it's just given me the MIDI now. So I can go in and then edit that, which is kind of cool, and change it a bit. Maybe I can change the notes. Let's have a look. So first of all, I can actually drag a box around all of these notes and make them an octave lower. Or it might not let me. Oh, yep, it does. Beautiful. So now let's see whether we can edit these notes to follow the chord. So we need to change these ones here. If you do a mistake like that, you can always hit the undo on the top left-hand corner. I'm going to make this one a note higher. Let's listen to that. Okay, so let's start to, I'm going to loop that as well by clicking on it again. Let's start to add some, make this sound a bit cooler. So if I swipe those instrument, that line down the left to the right, it will give me the ability to change the volume so I can sort of mix this track a little bit. I want to add some effects to that soul organ. So if I go to the settings on the top right and go to the track controls, it will, I can select the track and then, sorry, I'm just going to get rid of that. I'm going to swipe back to the right so I can just click on a track, and that organ there, it will now give me the ability to add some effects there like echo and reverb. Just dial these up a bit. That's cool, and I might bring the treble back a little bit to make it a bit more muffled. And then I'm going to go to the drums and add some reverb to these drums. I'm getting a little crackle there. Okay, I think I fixed the problem there. So I was just adding some reverb to the drums. And now we've got sort of a little track going on here. I want to maybe make this a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to collapse those track controls and I'm going to double up this organ sound. And I'm going to perhaps add a synth in just to start layering a little bit. So I'm going to go to the keyboard and select the Alchemy synth right here. And then I'm going to pick a sound. Well, let's just keep this epic, whatever it is. Actually, that's a bit EDM for this song. Let's see if we can find something a little bit more appropriate for this tune. That's a bit softer. You can go to the smart controls and muck around with this sound here. I think that original loadout was good. I'll just add a bit more delay and reverb to it. And then what I want to do is go back out to my track view and just copy this region here from the soul organ track, and then selecting a blank space on the new track that I just created, I'll just paste that in, and then I just want a little bit of that. So I've just swiped to the right and I'm just putting a little bit of volume there just to start layering that sound. Okay, and from here, you could, if you wanted to sing on your track, you could go to the, let me find the audio recorder. Probably just missed it there. You can add in, you can actually sing in, record your own voice, and you can auto tune and things like that. And I do have some other videos on recording audio. I'll leave them in the description to this video. What I might do is just, I need to undo that. Don't know what I just did. I'm just going to add maybe one final touch, which is just a lead sound here. I'm going to select the Alchemy synth and then try for a lead, synth lead. See what we've got here. Funk spike. Nope. Kind of cool. Let's add that in. So to record that, I just go back to the start. It'll give me the 4 counting on that metronome there, and let's go. Okay, so let's see how that has turned out. So now if I want to do a little bit of arranging, what I can do is using the plus button on the top right hand there, I can add another section if I want. So I've got 2 8-bar sections, and then you just swipe left and right to go, from one section to the next, and you can start to build a bit of an arrangement if you like. So I might just bring that lead in after 4 bars. So what I'm going to do is actually use that plus there to add, instead of adding a section, I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to select section A and duplicate that section. So then it should have the same thing. And then using that section view, instead of viewing just one section or the other, I'm going to view all sections and go done. And then now we can start, I can delete, that there. I can delete the synth, and I can start to bring in instruments one by one. Maybe let's try doing it this way. Okay, I might actually bring in an Apple loop of like a tambourine or something. So I'm going to hit a new track and make it a audio track just to get this song finished off. And then instead of adding audio, I'm just going to go to the Apple loops on the top right-hand corner and search for tambourine. Tambourine. Let's go with that one. I'll put my finger down on that and just drag it onto that audio track, see what it does. Okay, so I wouldn't call that a finished track by my standards, but you can see how it's really quick and easy to start creating song ideas on your iPhone. You can do this anywhere, at an airport or a bus station or just in your bedroom. And then, you can come up with tons of ideas like this. It's only taken me about half an hour to do this. It'll take me a lot quicker if I wasn't doing it in a tutorial form. And I can then go up to my songs and I can give this a name. So it's just named it My Song 12. So if I hold down on that one, I can rename it. And I might call this Soul Old School Beat or something like that. And then if I hit select on the top right hand corner and select that, I can now hit the bottom left hand corner, that upward facing arrow, and I can export that as a project on the right hand. Tap to send the GarageBand project, which contains all your multi-track recordings. So what I could do is hit project, and then I could airdrop it or email it to myself, or just airdrop it to my Mac. Let's try and just do the airdrop now. So we're looking at a screencast here, so let's see whether I can just send that to myself, basically. Let's go airdrop, and hopefully it'll find my Mac here. If it doesn't find, sometimes airdrop can be a little bit crazy. Let's just go email. Okay, so I did have some problems when I emailed that project to myself. So what I did was I just saved it to my iCloud instead, and then it's in my iCloud on my computer. And now here it is. The beat is now loaded up in my GarageBand for Mac, and I can continue finishing this song on the Mac if I like, or if I just want to export it directly as an audio file, I can just go here and select song. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed this. That was just me making a quick idea for a song or a beat, an instrumental beat on my iPhone using GarageBand, and then sending it through to my Mac computer so I can finish off the idea using the GarageBand software on the Mac. So it's just asked me now, because it needed some extra sounds, it's downloaded them and it wants to install them on my Mac computer. So I hope you enjoyed this content, ladies and gentlemen. And if there was anything in this video that confused you, do leave a comment. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.